Good morning, everybody. Thanks for joining us for another edition of our weekly real estate backstory, where we kind of go over the comings and goings, things happening in the real estate world here in the Atlanta market. My name is Alan Richardson, I'm the managing broker here at Maximum Realty Realtor Partners.
My name is Ming Richardson. I'm the compliance broker for Maximum One Realty and Realtor Partners.
And we want to jump right in this week talking about wealth, because there's lots of things that make up wealth, but we wanted to share with you really what encompasses net worth for especially when it comes to net worth for our clients. And so we want to share this graph with you here, and what you'll see is that for anyone whose net assets are under $1 million, their primary residence is the number one factor that makes it is the largest percentage of their net worth. Yeah, of their wealth. Yeah, thank you. Now, you know, real estate investments and owning other real estate also starts to play a factor in there. Now, if we're talking about folks who are dealing in, if you have net worth over $100 million, at that point, it may be more about your business that you own, or the businesses and the stocks and that kind of stuff.
Basically, a lot of that's tied into life insurance and different assets that you have acquired.
Yeah. But what you're going to see is that for the vast majority of our clients, of the folks that we work with, the number one source of wealth for them is their home. And that's partly why we are such huge advocates for talking about home ownership. Because even though we know that at times it's like when we bought our first home, we had to really fight and struggle to be able to save for that down payment, to be able to, and we look at how just
over time what it did for us.
But what a huge impact.
Yeah, right. So it's 100% and appreciation. Not only that, the original purchase price, that over time it depreciates, meaning what you owe to the bank depreciate over time, and as you are gaining traction on appreciation on the property as well.
But we really want you to have something that you can be sharing with your clients, like steal this graph, really be talking to your clients about it, because right now is a very, very good time to look at what's going at being a buyer in our market. And right now our market's feeling the effects of a lot of our clients feeling like it's really not that great a time, and we really are. And we're going to show you some more information about that here in just a moment, kind of thing. So we don't want to get political, but
we're not.
And so, however, one thing that you'll see, I just want to kind of share with you that swing state housing payments have nearly doubled since the last election. Doesn't matter, red state, swing state, blue state, doesn't matter, but swing states especially have done that. The typical swing state, and here in Georgia we definitely are, typical swing state has gone from affordable to unaffordable since the last election. Now, in answer to that, Biden has just put out a proposed 5% cap on rent hikes for corporate landlords. And a couple of things. I'm not trying to bash the president for this. I do understand that this is a political move. That being said, I disagree with it. I find that we are market people.
We're actually market driven. So the demand, if there's no demand, there would not be an increase, correct?
Correct.
So if there's a demand, obviously there's more job opportunity, more growth, and more opportunity, basically. And so by putting a cap on it, that's very anti-capitalism. Not only that, in my personal opinion, that's go along the Sherman antitrust law to a certain extent, because you're controlling the market.
Well, this is only going after corporate landlords who they have to have at least 50 properties. So for most of our clients, we're not talking about a huge impact. This is intended towards those Wall Street and the larger investors and that kind of stuff. But we are still about like if the market can bear it, that's what the market can bear. We're not about setting.
The landlord is not going to price anything that the market cannot bear.
And that's just kind of where we've been, because at what point does the government step in and start doing other things like that into our regular lives? That's one of those things that kind of
correct
bothers me a little bit. So overall in Georgia, So Georgia comes in as the 10th best state to do business in, and that's based on a lot of different profiles. But you can see the overall, not necessarily every place in the state in the I mean, like the whole South is not great, right? South Carolina's 36, Mississippi's 50. So we come in at 10. Florida comes in at 11. We're kind of close right in there. So we are in the top tier of best states to do businesses, and so that's just another factor we like to share with you about. It's good to be in Georgia because when business is good, then jobs are good, and when jobs are good, real estate's kind of good there as well.
Or there's more business
Yeah,
coming in, and that's intermingling.
it all works together. Yeah.
Right.
So, Fed Chairman Powell, he was at a meeting this past week. He's like, "Listen, the Fed's not going to necessarily wait until inflation actually gets below 2% before cutting rates."
Thank
And
you.
everyone in the market's like, "Oh, thank
Thank
you,"
you.
because I mean we're around 3% now, and
Right.
it is, and we are seeing things move forward. The Fed's going to be meeting later this month, at the very end of the month, and so there is a planned rate. I think right now the market's weighing it in about ninety
We
percent.
My predictions around September
Well,
or late
we'll
August.
see, but it should be coming up, and so we are going to see that kind of happening. But it's not just that. Uh, what about all the other economists out there? What are their predictions for Fed rate? They're looking at the Fed's continuing to drop rates moving forward. They're really looking at the Fed rate decreases coming forward, and that bodes really really well because in addition to all that, rates dropped this week. I mean,
Yes.
rates dropped pretty significantly actually, and so we're at we're at 6.7, which is significantly down right now. That just dropping from where we were at our peak in April to now represents like $150
Hmm.
in monthly savings right there. So we're seeing mortgage rates moving in the right direction, and that's so good for us to see. Like we're super excited about that. Yeah, at the same time, new listings for homes nationally up about 6%. Here in Georgia, closer to 10%. Overall active listings for homes are up about 20% in the US. We're up about 35% here in Georgia. So we're seeing interest rates coming down, more new listings, more total inventory. This is the right
And
time.
I would tell you, buyers, if you wait until the
Yeah.
interest rate drop to what you think it should be, just remember everybody thinks like you.
Yeah.
And they're going to be all buying at the same time. And that means more competitive bids and competitive offers.
Well, and at the same time as all that's happening, we also have more listings with a price reduction than we have seen ever. I
Uh,
mean, like since we've been tracking
Almost,
it,
it's a 29.5%. Almost a third of the property listed out there, the seller is thinking twice about
having a
their
price
lead
reduction.
price.
I mean, that I mean, when you put it that way, it's really really like a third of our sellers
Hmm.
have dropped their price, and so all those kind of things put together, it like this is the time for our buyers to be serious. This is the time for us to be really talking about this to our clients. When you combine what's going on with more inventory, more price reductions, lowering rates, and that the fact that this is where wealth comes from, like now's the time when we should be reaching out even more. We should be screaming this from the rooftops because this is great for our buyers, right?
Absolutely.
And so we just really want to make sure that we're shouting and talking about this. Overall in the real estate industry, we tend to follow industry, I mean, like the overall market trends. And if overall the American, most of the time, anytime an election comes along, all Americans just kind of get a little bit me. I mean, like the pessimism goes really high, and if you get wrapped up into that, you're going to be part
Now,
of the problem.
you still got to support your four walls.
Yeah,
And just remember, when you rent, it's 100% interest.
yeah, that hurts.
So, if you want to build wealth,
Yeah.
let's get the ball moving.
So overall, we're seeing where active housing inventory now compared to pre-pandemic, and it is actually it's better. But like what I wanted to show you with this is that even though we have rising inventory, don't look for a crash.
We're still below the pre pandemic listing number. In most majority area. Now, Florida, where you see the blue marks, that's where they have an increase. But in Georgia,
We're about 40 something percent
mm,
under where
right.
we were pre-pandemic just on the total inventory. And so
So
like
you look at it, Texas and Florida are the two predominant area that are above the pandemic
yeah.
numbers.
Yeah, Tennessee too,
So
which is
yeah, and
strange.
yeah,
So,
and
but
up in Idaho looks like in that little funky state shape. In Washington, some area. So once again, real estate is very local.
it is.
So you got to listen to what the local agents are saying versus just a national number overall.
Yeah. Now, jumping into things related to realtors and just real estate professionals kind of thing. And so the Consumer Federation of America came out and they kind of issued uh, they released this report talking about
Mm-hmm.
how many agreements across the U.S. are listed as being unfair. And so they went through and they said, listen, these are 15 things that we see that are happening with buyer agreements, and these need to be addressed, and overall gave our industry kind of a failing grade when it comes to that. And so like they talked about a lot of states, the overall length is ridiculous. The size, like, a lot of them are written in font that's just so itty bitty you can't see. Yeah,
Magnificat.
like there's no organization to it. It's written in legalese, so much legalese that like you literally can't be a lawyer unless you do it. And so they list out all 15 of these things. Well, what I want you to understand is for a lot of states, like here in Georgia,
That may be true
we're
in
ahead of
other
the
states.
game. We really,
Yes.
really are.
Our contract are laid out exactly what these 11 bullet points are. So
We
if
might be a
you're
little bit long. That's about the only thing. We may have a
Well,
little
we're
bit of
actually
legalese.
longer than most states.
Yeah.
Georgia has been always been very proactive about their seller protection and buyer protection. So therefore, our contract used to be 3 pages. Now it's probably on buyer brokerage is 8 pages.
Yeah.
So that comes in effect because of the NAR issues and that we want to be very
Well, our
transparent
contracts are always, I
here in
mean, the GAR
Georgia.
contracts are updated, at least really twice a year is really
Correct.
what it's turning out to be. And when you see news about this, please don't, and if you're in Georgia,
Don't jump on the
yeah,
bandwagon
I mean, like we are ahead of the game. We've been using buyer brokerage agreements
for a very long
for a
time.
long time. A lot of these states never. This is brand new for so many states, and they're all having conniption fits about it. And we're in Georgia going,
We already
what,
done this. What's the
what,
big
yeah,
deal?
what's a big deal, right? So when you see this, understand that in places that have never had buyer brokers, have never used buyer agency, it's a big deal there. And they're trying to figure those things out. A lot of these states don't have really well organized organizations to build, to create these forums. And sometimes some of the forums have been looking a little bit wonky. And so I can see why different watchdog groups are putting things like that. But listen, that's not here in Georgia. We're in
Correct.
really, really good shape when it comes to that. Now, speaking of like the NR settlement kind of thing, and so we have some information. So like as far as like how many of your clients have actually heard of the NAR settlement, and basically 2/3 of the folks out there
Haven't
haven't
even
even
heard a
heard
whisper
about it
or
all.
doesn't care enough to know.
Yeah, yeah. Now, only of that 37%, they have heard of the settlement and what's going on, but
And but
it doesn't necessarily that
unfortunately,
anything changes for
the
them. It's just heard.
37% sometimes get distorted information and don't fully comprehend what NAR is, what the lawsuit, the premise behind the lawsuit is. So educate your client all day.
Right, exactly. But Clever went out and Clever Real Estate went and did, asked some additional questions and said, will the NAR settlement impact whether you use a real estate agent to
Or
sell a
not.
home? And half of the folks said no. No, it's no impact at all. 27% said, I'm more likely to use an agent because of the settlement. And about 24% said, I'm less likely to use an agent, which is, I mean, it's one of those
Well,
where almost the same percentage of people that's more likely to use, there's the same number of people that are less likely to use.
just think about it's like having a nuance, a new thing coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people react differently and some people think they can do better. but what they are lacking of, they don't understand the other side, the flip side of the coin. And if you talk to a realtor or real estate agent, they'll
Hmm.
tell you there are safety concerns. There is whether or not a contract has a qualified buyer,
Yeah.
whether or not they have gone through the process. What about the timelines?
Well,
All these things do make
well,
difference.
and honestly, like let's just shoot straight. Not all realtors, not all agents are created the same. Part
Correct.
of, like if you've ever had to work with a client that worked with a crappy realtor or real estate professional before, and then you had to make up for their lack of professionalism or knowledge or expertise, then I think we all, none of us want to like we don't want to be that person. As a matter of fact, that's why we do things like this, because it's so important that we are professionals, and that we treat our clients the right way. You know, they also asked, like asked our folks, said, you know,
Which statement best does represent your opinion, the client's opinion about the issue in the trial and the trial outcome?
and see, this is one where you got to get like real estate agents are being attacked wrongly, only 3%. So like that's on us. Like if they think, well, yeah, maybe those agents kind of deserved it. 20% said National Association of Realtors and the big real estate companies are finally facing their comeuppance, kind of thing. However, 75%,
74%
yeah,
that have now negotiated how they compensate or compensate directly with those the buyer clients. So
and it
this makes
makes sense
sense
to
to me.
me, right? And so for the folks that, for that 37%, they're not really opposed to it. And honestly, for a lot of the things that come from this NAR lawsuit, I don't necessarily
I don't
disagree with, with
disagree
with
that the
all of them. I mean, some of them I'm
premise,
not happy about. I
right?
don't like it not being in the MLS, but as far as us treating buyers and making sure everyone understands, having more transparency, I think that's great on that side of
Absolutely, all
things.
day.
Yep. Um, and then they said, hey, if you were hiring a real estate agent to help you buy your home right now, which of the following options would you do? And so 14% said,
I'll
I'd
pay you $100 an
I'd pay
hour.
$100 an hour to do that. 20%,
Flat fee of $10,000,
and then still 2/3 of folks said,
and
I
2.5% is equitable.
and I guess one thing that we want to point out is that as long as your broker approves, can you charge an hourly rate?
Absolutely.
Yeah, can you charge a flat fee?
But
Uh,
what you have to do is that if you are doing that, make sure you explain, you set expectation
mhm.
with your client so
Yeah,
they understand what that equates to throughout the transaction. Okay. And the problem, it's like hiring an attorney. If you don't know what the attorney charge per flat base rate per hour and what you're actually being charged on every time you talk to an attorney, is a
yeah,
disadvantage.
but that doesn't mean that you have. If a client says, "I'll hire you, and I'm only going to do it if you're going to work for this much an hour," you don't have to do that. You have the
No, you don't
ability
have the right.
to negotiate, and I guess that's the thing is that like we are seeing this shift in real estate. No one expects that realtors aren't paid. We
Correct.
we are we need to be compensated. you know, do those fee structures change in any way, shape, or form? They can, but that doesn't mean that you have to change. That
Just
doesn't mean that your
remember,
model
it,
necessarily does, but
it
that we are seing differences
if a
out there.
client wants to negotiate with you, it's like buying a vehicle. You can get the baseline, the standard,
Hmm.
the premium, the luxury, or the luxury premium. And each one of those have a different price point.
Yeah.
And you can definitely negotiate out what you want and what you need from client perspective or agent perspective. Just know what your worth is.
But now, all that being said, understand that the vast majority of clients are not really used to that. And 70% of our clients have never negotiated their commission rate have the commission rate with their agent. Of the 30% that have, 13% of the time, the realtor changed the rate. And 17%, the realtor changed their rates, and
13.
13% they said no.
Because the way to look at it, my expertise, my knowledge, my years in this industry, I am worth X amount of
Yeah.
dollars, and I will not take on a client that will not be happy with me or the service I provide at this rate.
Yeah. So
So
there is no set commissions. However, you can see that 83% of the time a lot of agents, realtors, real estate pros, they don't move on there because we work very hard for what we
We
do.
do.
These are the services I provide. These are the fees I charge. Now, if you don't want to use my services, I got nothing but love for you. But this is what I provide. This is what I charge. And
Correct.
that's the essence of why
Well,
this is really important, because this is clarity.
I look at it this way. If you were going to see a doctor before your open heart surgery, will you try to negotiate with the doctor your rates? No, you won't. You'll hopefully you find the best cardiologist that to operate on you, and that you're not taking a chance on someone
Yeah.
that doesn't know what they're doing.
Hey, would you do it cheaper for me? And say, what if I only used half the anesthesia?
There
What
you
if you
go.
used half as many stitches to sew up my heart? Like these kind of things
No, you're not going to do
yeah,
that.
yeah. You're just not going to do
So,
that, right? All right. Well, we're going to change gears again and just get weird, right?
uh-oh.
So, a majority of your neighbors, our neighbors, hide from their neighbors. Did you know this? I thought this was really
Oh,
funny. So,
pretend you don't see
I
them.
know, well, but that's really the big thing. They said like the majority of Americans hide from their neighbors. 2/3 hide from their neighbors at least once. Now, here's where we get the whole passive aggressive thing, right? 37% pretends like we don't even see them, like nothing to see here, kind of thing, right?
And
34%,
stay
they won't even go
inside.
outside if they see their neighbors.
Yeah.
Like how bad is that? Acting like you're not home, just
Now
like
I
peeking
done
through.
that with telemarketers, so I
No,
do that, but not with my neighbors.
and maybe with Jehovah's Witnesses too. So, some folks wear headphones while they're out outside, acting like they pick up. Oh, I got a phone call, can't talk to you. Kind of. I just found that was really really funny. Now, which group is the most likely to avoid their neighbors? The younger the homeowner or the
The
occupant.
Gen Zs.
So our Gen Zs, followed by our Gen, I mean our
So,
millennials, and
so
all the
Gen
way through.
Xers, myself, just go over there with fresh baked cookie. I bet you money they'll talk to you.
Well, that's if you want to be talked to. I'm just saying most of your neighbors don't want to be talked to. I just found that to be really really funny. So anyway, moving on. So our builder confidence is dropping,
Hmm.
and that is a bit of a concern for the inventory. The builders see the inventory rising, and so we're seeing builder confidence drops. And so what we're sharing to you is when we see the builder's confidence goes down, guess what else goes down? Single family starts.
Correct.
So we're seeing less construction going on.
But they're also looking at a projection based on the birth rate, what's going on, and when they're qualified for buying. So, and when their confidence go down, don't be surprised if you get a lot of email that states incentives. Okay,
Well,
so you
but
need to
we're
look at
seeing
that.
where regular for sale. I mean, like resales, because that inventory is going up. Builders are tapering off right now, and the builders have really been carrying us for a long while. And that's one thing. Even though you see some of these inventory
Every
rising
third
numbers,
closing has been new construction for the last probably year and a half.
yeah, yeah, it really has been. That number's tapering down.
Hmm.
So just understand that's another one of those things about why we're not looking at a market
Well,
crash,
and
because they're
agents,
really
if
forcing that.
you're strictly a new construction agent, meaning you attract a lot of buyers that want new
Stick.
construction, you better think about your new marketing leads,
Mm-hmm.
because that may
Inventory is getting
not
tighter.
be
It's
as,
just getting
yeah.
tighter.
So, all right, Tom Ferry is coming on, y'all, next month. We're really excited. It's going to be open in all our offices. Please register at max1.rocks at / Tom Ferry. We would love to see you. Share the excitement. Learn new thing from Tom Ferry. And
Well, there's 3 days: 27th, 28th, 29th. Every day is different. You get 6 hours of CE credit for that day.
you do have to stay for the entire day.
Yes. But you will get fed breakfast and
And
lunch,
lunch.
and you get to hang out with us.
Yeah, there you
So,
go. And our
that's
branch
it.
managers.
And our branch man.
They're
Yes, yes,
awesome.
yes, exactly. All right. Well, this week we've got coming up. So on Tuesday, we got effective communication CE class happening over in our Noonan office. On Wednesday, another 2024 mid-year GAR contract change coming up. That's going to be in Fayetteville. And on Thursday, I'm going to be going over in our Conyers office, and we're going to be doing new agent boot camp. This is designed for new agents that are coming into our industry like all
Hmm.
wide-eyed and lost. That's what this class. Now, this is a 6-hour CE class. And for heads up. It's not a 3 hour. Most of our classes are 3 hours. This is a 6 hour. So you're going to be there with me all day. Also, we have our relaunch, our post license coming up the following week. You can,
New agent, take an opportunity to take this class. I promise you, you'll learn so much more just a 25-hour course.
yeah, but it's not showing up on here. But if you go to MX1 training, you can sign up for our relaunch series. It's Monday, Wednesday, and Friday for 2 weeks, and it's all about getting your. It does take care of your 25-hour post license, but moreover, it's designed to help get you into
What
production.
is really is get you going,
Yep.
and because a lot of agents get out of the real estate course and they're like, "What's next?" Because they really have no idea how to go about their business,
No.
how to do business planning, how to address buyer, how to address sellers, what technology piece do they need to market themselves, and what's a good product to use.
Yeah.
And along with that, we talked about the lender and attorney, what they're looking
Mm-hmm.
for, what should be some of your red flag when you talk to a client. So it's a great class. Come and join us.
So you guys have a great week. If we can be any kind of service to you, please call, text, smoke signals. Thanks. We love you.
Thank you. Have a happy Monday.
Bye bye.